back at it again, and we're not going to waste any time. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and let's jump right on into this video.
Evening, everyone. Welcome to The Next Revolution. Last week on the podcast, I had a great conversation with Kevin McCarthy. No, not that one. McCarthy, the California state legislator who just got a bill passed that will help turn unused government buildings into housing, something that also helps revitalize downtown areas and fight crime. Exactly the kind of positive, practical, common sense thing politics should be about. But instead, the people in charge seem obsessed with all the drama and theater.
Last week was just the prelude to what will be a spectacle of incompetence and chaos in the U.S. House of Representatives.
What we have here is...
I don't know how Joy Reid still has a show. Like, I don't know if any of y'all have, like, really checked out any clips. I'm sure most of you really haven't because it is MSNBC. But, oh my goodness, she is horrible. Horrible.
A recipe for a lot more fights, a lot of dysfunction, a lot of chaos.
This House, as dysfunctional as it is now, will continue to be even more dysfunctional.
It's going to be utter chaos in the House.
Chaos, dysfunction. They're still going on about it more than a week after the Speaker vote. But why? Debate isn't chaos and dysfunction. It's democracy. Didn't all these people tell us they were for that? But when the left tried to rebrand debate as
But remember what I said. They're all hypocrites. They accuse the right of what they're actually doing. They accuse the right of destroying democracy, when really it's them. They call having a debate and disagreeing with one another destroying democracy and very dangerous and blah, blah. So, like, we're all just supposed to just, hey, yes, a massa. Like, that's just what we all supposed to say. Hey, Kevin McCarthy says, hey, get in line. Yes, massa. Yes, massa. We just all, yes, yes, yes. We just all bow down and just line up. That's what they do. It's crazy, right? It's not democracy.
It tells us that they don't actually like democracy or debate.
Facts.
What they want, what they expect, is for everyone to just shut up and fall in line, parrot the groupthink at all times, no dissent allowed. With very few exceptions, like our friend Congressman Ro Khanna, who has the Twitter files revealed in private as well as public, does stand up for democracy and pluralism. With very few exceptions, the Democrats and the media's mindset these days is not democratic. It is totalitarian. You see that exposed all the time. You see it in their ban on gas stoves, which they then desperately tried to deny, even though they're already doing it, starting nearly 4 years ago in where else? Berkeley, California, then spreading across California, across the country to New York. And at the same time, as the Biden people and their media puppets yelp that it's not true, we're not banning gas stoves, the Biden administration is in court supporting Berkeley's ban. There's no serious justification for this. It's not positive. It's not practical. Cooking for friends and family is a central part of our humanity. Cooking on electric and induction stoves is horrible. So why do they want to do this to us? Because it's pure ideological theatre. Just like all the other nonsense they're pushing under the banner of their climate zealotry. Banning...
It's all about control. I've talked about this before, but just look at what's going on. We want to keep you safe. It's for your safety. Safety is like the new buzzword for them. We want to keep you safe, so we're going to take something away from you. But we're going to keep you safe. We just got to take that. Your AR-15s, those weapons of war, we're going to take those because we want to keep you safe. We want to keep you safe. Come on now. We're on to them.
Real beef in favor of fake factory meat full of chemicals, as Bill Gates now demands. Banning non-electric vehicles years before we have the infrastructure to make it all work, or even an electricity grid with enough reliable clean energy to power it. I'm all for a well-managed, sensible energy transition, but the climate zealots are not. They won't expand carbon-free nuclear power. Now, they're even undermining decentralized solar power. All their endless micromanaging of our lives. It's not realized solar power.
Hold on, what did I say? California just slashed rooftop solar incentives. What happens next? Oh.
Now, They're even undermining decentralized solar power. All their endless micromanaging of our lives. It's not about fighting climate change. It's about fighting us. That's why they end up looking like a bunch of miserable, joyless, Puritan, anti-human zealots, bossing us around to make themselves feel virtuous. But these neo-totalitarians aren't just trying to control what we do. In the most sinister and anti-American way, they're now trying to control what we say. On one level, it's laughable. The University of Southern California this week banning the word field, as in field trip, because it's racist or something. Stanford University banning the...
I'd never understood this foolishness, like going that route, because I think he's about to talk about it. Stanford, let's see, hold on.
The word American, because, oh, who cares? It's not worth taking seriously.
Stanford came out and was saying that they were going to ban, certain words or whatever, like American, because it's offensive and not everyone's American or whatever. But I never understood that whole push because, I mean, when you really break it down, somebody could be offended about anything. You could say water and somebody's offended. So, like, are we just going to, like, ban all language and we're just not going to talk to each other? It's dumb. It's so dumb. But, of course, it's another way to garner more control. Hey, we want to keep you safe. We want to make a safe space, so we're going to ban you from saying these certain things.
What is worth taking seriously is the federal government colluding with big tech to control what we say. As we were the first on television to lay out, infiltrating Twitter, Facebook, all of them at the highest levels, outsourcing their illegal and unconstitutional censorship to a shadowy government-funded network of non-profits designed to evade the First Amendment. The instruments of government power, the FBI, CIA, DHS, DOJ, working hand in glove with Democrat politicians, Democrat academics, and Democrat-backing big tech to silence and censor Americans. There was a time when the left championed civil liberties and freedom of speech, when the left viewed the intelligence agencies and the security state with skepticism and suspicion. But now the once liberal left has been commandeered by this neo-totalitarian mindset that embraces the surveillance state in pursuit of partisan ends. Just this week, Jim Clyburn, of all people, turning into a fawning mouthpiece of the security state when asked about Republicans investigating the weaponization of federal agencies. But we also saw this week exactly why Jim Clyburn and the Democrats are so relaxed about that weaponization. The weapon isn't aimed at them. If it was, I think we all know what would have happened if it was a Republican former vice president who, after 6 years, was discovered the week before an election stashing top-secret classified documents in an office to which his corrupt son had requested extra keys for a Chinese government official.
We all know what would have happened. We all know. Just imagine. Now, granted, Trump was actually the president, but just imagine this happened with Trump. I mean, they already demonized him, even though he was actually or his lawyers were in conversations with them and already had turned over some of the documents. They still chose to raid him and turn it into this huge show or whatever. But just imagine if he had a think tank that was partially funded, allegedly, by a foreign government. That would have been plastered everywhere. Would have been... They would have run that story on a loop all day, every day, 24/7. They never would have let that down. And then on top of that, they would have thrown him under the jail. Might have even, put him in a pine box. But of course, since it's the left, oh no, it's fine. They were secure. They were in the locked closet. It's okay. It's not the same as Trump's. Even though they went to Mar-a-Lago and gave him a lock to put on where he had the documents, they gave him the lock. Then he came back to cut the same lock that they gave him to put on. Anyway, you know, I'm just confused, you know.
But then covered up that information so it wouldn't derail his party's midterm election campaign, continued to cover it up, even as his hand-picked hyper-partisan attorney general appointed a special counsel to investigate his potential opponent in the next presidential election for doing the same thing, then found another stash of classified documents in his garage, found, by the way, by his personal lawyers rummaging around, while the same hyper-partisan attorney general sent in the FBI to raid his political opponent's house, continued to cover all this up as more documents were found, finally admitted the truth when months later the media broke the story, sent the press secretary out to lie and say, that's it, there's no more top secret documents stashed away, only to come back the next day and say, wait, actually, there are some more in the room next to the garage, but that really is it now. The search is over. And there are no more classified documents. Before a couple of days after that, the personal lawyers again, not the FBI, saying, well, actually, we did find some more pages of top secret documents, but it's okay. You can trust us because we did the right thing. Americans are tired of the brazen hypocrisy and double standards. They're angered by the two-tier justice system, shocked at the neo-totalitarianism, and increasingly in revolt against it, especially as they realize that the people in charge can't even get the basics right. An air traffic control system 3 decades old and apparently 6 years away from being updated, even as the geniuses in Congress pass a $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill with more money for EV charging stations than for air traffic control. In California, where they've somehow managed to create a situation where we have floods and a drought at the same time, this is the actual chaos and dysfunction, not political debate in the Congress, but a complete collapse of competent governance. We don't want all the theatre and the virtue signalling and the extremism. We just want positive, practical solutions to our problems. Common sense and competence. That's the next revolution we need.
And actually, I would argue that, no, we don't need you to solve our problems. We'll figure it out on our own. We don't trust you. The only people that I mildly have some trust in is the Freedom Caucus with Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, and all of those guys and gals. Those are the only people that I mildly have some trust in. I'm just saying, you know, even somebody like Trump, who I've came out and said I support Trump. I don't even trust him completely, because he's shown that he's bad at picking people. Listen. I'm all for Trump at 24. I've said that time and time again. I've said that 1,000 times. But even he's not perfect. His choice in people sometimes really sucks. So, yeah, I would say I would take a page out of Thomas Sowell's book and just be like, hey, government, stay out. You do as little as possible, okay? All right? You make sure that, you know, if things start flying through the air, you know, we taken care of, all right? You know, beyond that, too far beyond that, you know, stay out the business, okay? Stay out of our business. But, hey, that's just me. The glaring hypocrisy from the left, the glaring, you know, differences in terms of, you know, when someone on the right does something versus somebody on the left doing something, you know, and the penalties for that and the way that it's run. Like, I don't even know how they're getting away with it at this point. Like, they've literally brainwashed people to the point where they can't even see that they're being lied to. Like, I'll watch MSNBC clips, you know, obviously, because, you know, I need some stories for the day, and I'll just be watching. I'm like, yo, they are blatantly lying. Blatantly. And half of the country is eating this stuff up. Just eating it up. And I just, for the life of me, don't know how. Even before I got into politics. Even before, you know, I had any, need or want to be in politics, I realized that the news was lying to me. I told you guys that story. So, like, when I hear stuff from MSNBC, when I watch clips from The View with Sunny Hostin and Joy Behar and all of those horrible, terrible hosts on there, and I'm listening to them speak, I'm just like, man, how in the world do they still have a show? how in the world do they still have a show? Like, it's one thing to disagree, but like when you're just blatantly lying, it's just like, come on. But hey, that's where we are today. That is where we are. It's been a slow, intentional, dumbing down of the population. People literally can't even think for themselves anymore. They just follow. And I think mainstream media is taking full advantage of it. But hey, what do y'all think about all of this? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.